Let me show you how I installed this set of wardrobes. It's all from Howdens. Just been at Howdens, gonna load the stuff now, just paid everything. Just waiting for the lads to take all the boxes out so I can load them in the van. And I'm enjoying the free coffee that Howdens is providing. All the time, anytime, unlimited, as many as you want. I think I had 3. Too much. So after I load, I'm just gonna drive to the place that I'm gonna fit the wardrobes and take them upstairs. Some of the heavy boxes, I take them apart and take all the contents out one by one. I know it's more walking, but saves my back. So that's the plan. Well, there you go. Just parked it on the door. So all the guys are just loading, picking everything that they need. I guess it's gonna come all in one trolley. And I'll just load it in the van, take it to the house. Simple. It all comes in these trolleys. Already well packed. Right, I've loaded most of it. It's a lot of packaging, but the good thing about this is all of it, all of the packages, all the boxes will just come back in here. Just go in this bins here. All free of charge. So just reverse here and dump them. Simple. There you go, another coffee on the way. I love these Howdens coffees. Don't know why I love them so much. Maybe the fact that they're free. You don't pay for them. Right, got everything in the van, got the invoice, and I'm happy to hit the road. Let's go to the job. Right, and that's us done. Just arrived here. Where we're gonna install. It's a lovely area, by the way. It's beautiful here. We're in Goosery, near Crewe, Cheshire. So that is all the stuff that I'm gonna take upstairs. It's basically all that. We'll go through the door, up the stairs, and we'll be fitted together. Stay tuned. Right, I thought I will build some of the small furniture like bedside tables and chests before I start building the wardrobes. And this is, I just thought I will warn you guys, this is the bedside unit that goes on, on the side of the bed. So I have 4 of these to build, and it's a nice thing. It comes either with a drawer or a door, and they're all soft close, and that's the drawer. But it's an absolute nightmare. It takes about a couple of hours for one of these to be built, just like that, just as you see. It comes with that box. So that's the car case. Then this is the frontal, or you have to put the knob or handle before you complete it, and then have to countersink the head of the boat. So that's that. This is the door that goes there. That is the top of the little thing, so it goes on the top. Yeah, lots of runners and bits. It's just a bit of a nightmare. I thought it's just gonna be that simple. I didn't even think about them, but anyway, it's built now. It's a nice finish, solid thing. So just crack on with the wardrobes. Right, time to fit everything. I'm just putting the things together. Got all the bottom and top parts and shelves, so with the legs and all these cams that you have to do, and the legs are in. That supports the plinth, or pushes the plinth, the kickboard down to the floor, so it's a nice and neat finish when it's all assembled. So I got these top boxes that will go on top of the wardrobes. I've got all the parts for the wardrobes. I will have to alter one of the cupboards, basically one of those, so it gets to the correct height that we can fit the two doors. I'll show you in a minute what I mean. But first you have to remove this curtain board, so that's all gone. The long bit, that one, is all gone from there, so our wardrobes can go all the way to the wall, nice and flush. I'm gonna cut these just where I've marked, and that's gonna be for the panels. So I'm just doing this one now. So I'm just cutting these panels here for the cupboard that's gonna be lowered. It doesn't have to be that high, it has to be just 4 feet. So I'm doing that now to make sure we can fit it nicely. I've measured 120 here, and I'm just gonna cut it. So when I cut the panels on the cupboard, I made sure I'm cutting the bottom, so when I fit the larder unit door, I don't have to realign the holes for the hinges. And that's a little tip that sometimes nobody tells you. So because I'm not doing it the way they want from Howdens, I don't need to use the cams here, that's why it's empty. And I had to chop the dowels that go in the holes because there'll be no more holes. I will use screws. That is now how I modified this Howdens cupboard. I didn't use the cams, but I did use screws and nails, and it's perfect now. I'll do exactly the same on the bottom, which is actually on the other side, and that's gonna be it. Always use a manual screwdriver for the plastic cams. Don't use the impact because it ruins them. These always have to be tightened manually. Okay, that's done. Let's see what happens now when I turn it. Now remember that part still hasn't been attached, so have to be careful when turning, and it's gonna be tricky. And just turn it the proper way. And that's your Howdens wardrobe turned into a cupboard, a lower one, so you can fit the larder doors, and this could be the top to make it ideal to put storage on top. Show you what is done. The moment of truth. That was easy. Right, second one is done. I'm just going to put it upright. Something like what it's gonna look like. So these are the top boxes. These two are the top boxes for there. So everything will go to the ceiling, and this is how this is going to look like with the two louder doors. It's going to be a panel here in the middle that goes all the way up to the ceiling, and this is going to remain open. And I'm just going to work out how this is going to happen here, because the scribing panel is just going to be cut in a specific size, and then the plinth. But at least that's the plan. Let's crack on. Right, so I've got the wardrobes, the boxes, the car cases where they will be, and I will offset everything as close as possible to this wall, and then I will have some filler panel here because of the radiator, so the door will open as much as possible and it's not going to hit the radiator. It will still hit it because the hinge is a 110, so it will definitely hit it, but we'll give it a good opening angle. And what I'll just give you a little tip, guys, when you, for here, the designers and everything, all the people there in Howdens are recommending, and they're just making you buy a full panel, the one that's costing £300. So you don't need that here. That's what they wanted, to put a full panel there and get more from them. But what I did is just like a little way around. I'm buying the kitchen plinth. This is a plinth. It's just been cut in the middle. It's just basically a plinth that goes under the cupboards in the kitchen. They come in the same finish, same color, so you could match it with wardrobes. And it basically is foiled on both sides, which is great. So it's foiled here, and then it's foiled on the other side. And I just cut it this way. So I'm using 65mm to go there, just a little sliver, just so it shows here on the front. That's all we need. And then the other part, which is about 100mm, I'm going to use it for the top, so I don't need to buy another panel or something like that, because the kickboards, the little plinths that go there, they're not foiled, they're just raw, and they only have the front face. So that's what I'm doing, and it works really well. I've already done one in the other room, and it's just basically, and it works really well. It basically cuts the cost down a lot. So this is the plinth that they're selling. The kickboard is not finished on the edges, it's only finished on the front, and it's supposed to go there. So yeah, this is exactly the same style, same color. This is what I built last week. And here, this is the kitchen plinth, just the edge, that's all we can see, just a little edge. So a little sliver, 60mm, is perfectly enough to attach it to the cupboard with a screw just behind the hinges. I'm putting the screw so nothing can be shown and nothing can be seen, and it goes all the way to the ceiling. And then you put this here, is again part of that plinth. So one plinth does the trick for the sides and for the top, and a plinth is about 30 quid. The panel is 300. They wanted me to buy another panel like this, which is £300. So I thought I will not do that, and it's well, it's a good saving. And that's pretty much what I'm gonna get in the other room where I'm working now. This type of thing is going to be near the window, and I will have two of these next to each other, and basically exactly the same thing with the top. So I'm gonna do that now. That one, it's gonna happen. This is gonna go on the top like a header all the way to the ceiling. Is going to be scribed with the ceiling, and then this is gonna go on the side, and it's going to save a lot of money. Okay. Well, this is how I cut the skirting board so I can fit the front panels just where I want them. I just grab a piece of a scrap piece of the material. This is the thickness, it's 18 mil. So I'm just going to put it that way, facing the wardrobes, and I'm just going to use the oscillator, the multi tool, and I'll cut the line. Just like that. Then I'll pull this back, and that piece, bear in mind the rest is already been cut, so I don't have to deal with the big stuff. This is just a nail right where I'm taking this piece. Should be a nail because it doesn't come out easily. Usually they come off real easy. There you go. That's the bugger that we're talking about. It's right here. Anyway, I'll pull that with the pliers. But that's how I remove the skirting board. So once I have everything, it just fits nice and neat. Look at that. That's exactly how we want it. Okay, little tip. So I've got the car cases here, all in situ where they will be. I'm not going to fix them yet, I'll just level them for now. I'm going to use this laser, which is going to project basically the bottom line where they have to be, but I'm not going to do that yet. I will have to roughly raise them so the plinth, the kickboard fits underneath, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm just raising it high enough roughly to go above the plinth. So just screwing the legs up, and then once that's done with all of them, and I can freely move the plinth just like that. See how it goes there. Once I achieve the issue on all of them, on all of the 3 car cases, then I'll use the laser to make sure they're perfectly level. Then we fix them to the walls and carry on. Right, so now I've got the level correct. So the laser is here and it's all leveled up. It tells me where all the cupboards will have to be in order to fit the plinth underneath the kickboard, and I'm happy with that. So now I can pull this cupboard a little bit further and screw this part. So just screw it in on the back of the cupboard, on the side of the cupboard, just 20mm forward, so when I fit the doors they will kind of look flush, and that's what I'm doing now. Just fitted the end panel, the trim that's supposed to be an end panel, but if you remember that's just half kitchen plinth. So I just fitted that, and this is basically what we're going to see when it's fully finished. The doors will sit in, and that's basically all of it that's going to be seen. So I've just done that, and I've pushed it there where I've cut the skirting board. I'm just connecting the second unit to this one. Then once I've done that, I'll probably put a screw up there and one screw down there into the wall. This is a drywall, and I have the timber on the top and the same on the bottom. So I've got a solid base to screw, and I'll just put a screw there, a screw there. I will probably put a screw here. This is an outer wall, so I've got a breeze block behind here, so I'll just put a screw, a little bracket there behind. I will work that out, or maybe it could be in the ceiling up there, and that's all it needs. Then I will fit this panel, and then this is going to be connected with that panel, filler here, and then the top, and then we start putting the doors on. So just putting some, I got that top box on and it's all been screwed. So I'm just going to put this top box on, but before that I'm just going to screw some of this stuff. I love using it because it's really strong, really good stuff. It's a It's also strong when putting it high, makes you high and really happy. So I'm gonna squirt some of this grip fill in just behind where the new top box will go. Maybe just in the corner here, that's all it needs. And potentially maybe some on the top here. Then I will just put the top box on, screw it down to these cupboards. And once it dries, that should keep it solid. Just a little bit here in the corner. That's all it needs. Okay. I'm gonna get the other cupboard in the box and it's just gonna go. Okay, that's all we need. So I'm just going to move the clamps here, make sure it's all flush, and I'll just screw it down. As the grip fill just came out nicely, that means it's done the job there, and once it dries it will be rock solid. So it's just that part there. Right, once it's flush, just screw it here, and that should be all. It's awkward when you work in small rooms. Howdens had different end deco panels for the wardrobes. They used to be 595 in width, and they barely covered the imperfection in some of the Victorian houses where the walls go an inch either way, so they updated that. And this is the new panel. It's called now a scribing panel. It's not end deco panel anymore, it's called scribing panel because it comes wider. It gives you more material to trim. It comes 650. The others that I'm talking about used to be 595, and it used to be a pain when you have to close a gap behind. So they fixed that, and I can see another improvement. Now the edges here are also foiled and finished, which is good. We can, if we have an offcut, we can use it as an end panel or as a worktop. They call it worktop. If there was no wall here, this worktop could finish this part here nicely. So good job, Howdens. Thanks for the update. Right, let's cut it now. The most accurate way to measure the panels and make sure it's just bang on where you want it is to have two pieces of timber just like that and clamp them. So one of them is touching the ceiling, the other one is resting on the floor, and when you clamp them they don't move anymore. And this here in my hand is the correct height for the panel. Just, you can't go wrong with it. So once that is done, I'll just rest it on the panel, make sure it's flush here, just like that. And I'll make a mark here, just like that. So that is my measurement. I've done exactly the same on the other side. So we'll cut a straight line there, and that should be the panel done. No measurements, you know, the tape measure doesn't bend there properly, or it bends and it doesn't go straight, so you don't get the straight edge and correct size. This solves the problem. So I'm just going to cut the panel now. I've got the very famous tool that everybody's asking about. It goes just like that. There you go. Absolutely no dust. And it's a clean edge. This is just the foil. Once I peel it off, it's a perfect edge. Thanks to this. Right. Now I've wedged the panel here and I've measured 20 millimeters. That's 20 millimeters for the doors. Same like what I've got on the other side. And I deducted this from what we've got cut from the panel, and it's exactly 55 millimeters we're going to cut. And I've scribed it, so I've marked it where the wall goes, 55 millimeters all the way to the bottom. Bear in mind the cupboard, this cupboard is going to be here, so we don't need to go mud straight where from this point below, so we can just afford to just go in as much as we want, but I'll still go straight anyway. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna cut. I'm just gonna cut and follow this line, put the panel back on, and that should be straight where we want it. Let's do it. Don't know if you noticed, there's no dust. The panel is in and I've secured it with screws, and I even put some grip fill on the back there so it holds it firmly. I've just put this extra cupboard here and it's all leather. And what I'm doing now is I'll just put a couple of screws to make sure it stays where we want it. That's it now. This is solid, so turn the laser off so don't burn the battery. And yeah, from this point I will put this filler on. I'll just have to scribe it, put it on, make sure the top is being cut to fit. Kickboards or plinths, that bit on top, then doors and internal shelves, and we should be done. I'm just going to prepare the top. That piece is going to be the horizontal part here, so I've measured where I have to cut it right there so it fit nicely, and I'm just gonna do that now. So just have to peel the foil, but pretty much I'm happy with what happens. Nice and neat, and nice and neat here. The joint is gonna be amazing. It's just the foil that is currently showing this mess, but once I peel it off, it'll be amazing. The plinth that goes underneath, or the kickboard, is a bit tricky to install, but once you get the hang of it, it's quite a simple task. So we've got these notches, the metal bits that we put on. We've got these, and basically they're pushing the plinth down to the floor so there's no gap. This is if you have hardwood flooring or something like that. In our case, carpet is going to cover the gap, but anyway, this is how we fit them. So it's a bit fiddly, but we can do it. So that goes on angle just like that. Right, that's it. It's done now. Just tap it a bit. Yeah, that's now fitted. And this is how it goes without any screws or extra fixings. Right, keep going or carry on. Now this is how I scribe the top panel. That little piece that goes to the ceiling. So I've just got these clamped. They're just scrap piece of timber. Clamped there, that's being screwed. The screw is just behind where the hinge will be, so there's no damage there. And what I do, I just get this, which is around where I want it, the width that I want. But it needs trimming about 15 millimeters. And we don't want to guess, we want to get exact cut. So once it's rested here, I can just use another piece of scrap timber, which is just the right thickness of the shelves, that material. I can just glide it here and run a pencil mark, and this is where I'm gonna cut. And I'm gonna cut, and hopefully it will fit. Right, let's see if it's gonna fit. That's perfect. So just made this. That is the top part that goes over there. It's all been scribed to the correct size. And in order to fit it, to make sure it's fixed, I'm just using scrap wood. I made these strips, and I just use these blocks, which are strong enough to hold it, and I'm going to squirt again lots of grip feel over there, that's going to hopefully hold it, and then I will put a couple of screws just here, one there, and then on the other side, so this doesn't suck down. And that's the whole thing, hopefully. So, maybe a little bit here, just so I can wipe this off. That's all I need. And now, the moment of truth. That's it now. I'm just going to screw it on the bottom and I'll show you what happens. The top bit is installed. The scribing panel on the top is installed. I just managed to install this as well, and I caulked it so it looks nicer. When the decorator comes, they will just enjoy it more. And that's been screwed, so it's not moving anywhere. There's loads of screws here going that way, and a couple of screws to hold the panel. So yeah, it looks nice. The next job is to fit the doors and adjust them, and the poles that will go there, and the 3 shelves there. But that's gonna be for tomorrow. I'll call it a day. See you tomorrow. Right, another day, just starting this morning, and I've got most of the panels, perhaps all of them are finished. Everything here is caulked as well. I've just put some decorator's caulk so it looks nicer. There's no visible gap to the skirting or even the walls or the ceiling. It's all been caulked. And I'm going to install the doors. Really pleased with how this joins the panel there. It's a good finish. All this here is being finished, so hopefully we don't need to do anything adjustment wise. I'll just put the hinges and the doors and the poles. These two poles will just go there. So that's the plan. Someone is on the door, I'm going to answer. See you in a bit. Loads of hinges. I think I've got about 20 pairs. The hinge that goes on the door, and then the other part that goes into the wardrobe. I just have to basically open them out. That's one done. I guess I'll probably have to adjust the gaps here when the two doors are closed, but I'll do that after I finish with all the rest of the doors, with the big ones and then the little ones there on the top. So then I'm going to do all these fine adjustments with the tiny screwdriver, and that will be done. These are the tiny doors for the top. Again, they take 2 hinges. A lot of hinges are going on here. Really happy when I pick a random number of screws and then end up to be just the right amount for all the hinges that I've got to screw. Not this time, I need another 6. Actually, while I can, I'll just put the knobs now. All these. I'll just screw them as much as I could on the doors. So it's easier to adjust the hinges later, because it's a nightmare to try and open it if there is nothing to pull the door. Alright, before we do that, we need to remove the foil. These are the little bits that hold the poles, so I'm just screwing them now. Well, that's it. I'll just fit the poles now, and that's the poles. They just sit in the brackets. Just like so. I think that's pretty much this in all the sections here in those two, because they won't have a drop for the long dresses and coats and stuff like that, fancy stuff. So that's how I'm putting it here. No shelves. So that's the long door. Got one here. One after that. I'm missing this one because obviously in my mind that's not needed, so I'm just gonna save this hinge, and there will be 4 hinges in total from this one, so I'm just gonna save them for the next. So that's one done. I've got the other 3, boom, boom, boom. Then it's just the handles, the knobs. I'll just make the holes and some adjustment, and that should be it. Just fitting the knobs. I guess it's very simple, but all I have to do is just basically do that, as everybody knows, and that is done. So I've got another few, and then it should be adjusting on the hinges, and that's pretty much it. And it's all finished now. There you go. All the doors are on, and I managed to adjust the gaps. And it's a bit tricky when you have top little doors like this, because there's more gaps to adjust. But we kinda did it. It's not rocket science. It's just a few screws here and there, and that's pretty much everything. The big doors, and it's just a pole there with a small storage on the top for the seasonal clothes, all soft clothes, so we don't hear banging doors. Same on this side. That's it. And a little wardrobe or cupboard. This was, don't forget, this is supposed to be a tall wardrobe, and these doors are supposed to be up there, and then underneath is supposed to be 4, or depending on the height, maybe 3 drawer unit. But this is what I did. This is what the customer wanted. This is gonna be dropped now for the television or something to go on top of it, and that's what I did. So 3 shelves inside. Could be as many shelves as you want, literally, but they wanted 3, so we've got them. Again, soft close, and all the knobs are nice and tightened. So I can't pronounce this completely finished. It's all done, so I'm gonna move on to the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone, and please subscribe. Bye for now. Well, the good thing Howdens is doing is they have these bins here over there, so all the packaging from the cupboards and everything else can go in there free of charge. Good, isn't it? Howdens!